Gen Zs, Gen Zs, Gen Zs. There is a sudden emergence, and if you can see, remember we had people like Akina Kasmuel who have now been discarded. People like Akina Moraro who have been discarded. But there is a trend. There is this set of young Kenyans, young Gen Zs who are now speaking, who are very vocal and very articulate and coming out to address issues. There is a certain cabal of young people who are now standing out, who are now coming out. They are now appearing to stand out amongst all the Gen Zs in terms of how they are addressing issues and everything. And it is both men and women. Ladies, my boy na madame. I think I once said it here that no one should force a leader on Gen Zs. Leaders will emerge themselves. The society, the movement will filter itself out and find leaders amongst the movement. But before I go into the details, kindly take a second to subscribe and to hit the notification bell so that anytime I post a video, you will always be the first to watch. So kindly do so, na kama kawaida, I'll be back. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed, and for the return subscribers, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Now back to my video. I have said that there is a certain change that is now happening. There is a certain set of young new faces of leaders, of people who are emerging, like purported like they can be leaders, who are now coming out from this movement of the Gen Zs and the protests and everything that has been turning out. And I said it a while back. I said it that a time will come when leaders from these Gen Zs, because people kept on asking, where are your leaders? Where are your leaders? Where are your leaders? But I always said that a time will come when things will just filter itself out. We will leaders watajitoka, yani watajitoa tu, like kuna vile tu itatoka tu bila hata wao kujua. Watajitoka, utapata tu mtametokea tu. And I said that the person who is going to give the president the hardest time and the biggest challenge will not be Gachagua, will not be anything. Will be a person who is very much unknown, who has not been in politics. And that person will be a new face. That is the person that will be the biggest challenge to the president. Because he will be somebody who you have nothing bad to put against him. Like he will be somebody he has not done, you have nothing he has done or anything. Attacking such a person will be so hard. Attacking a person who has no like he has never done anything in the past, to tag him, kumweka, like kumblame nayo, to use it to your advantage, will be the most difficult thing. Because these politicians, the seasonal politicians, they always want something. They know, Matiang'i amefanya hivi, that's what we are going to leverage on. We amefanya hivi, that's what we are going to leverage on. But I say that in 2027, President Ruto is going to have an opponent that he had never anticipated. And this opponent will be a person that will be supported by so many Kenyans, because Kenyans will just be looking for change. And they will be looking for a new face. Anyway, guys, I just want to put a few videos of some of these Gen Zs, how they are talking and everything. So I just want you to watch this interview, just few snippets, and then I'll come back, I'll dig a deep analysis into this. So watch this.
But where is your leadership? Where is the leadership of the Gen Zs? Who are your leaders?
I think that is where we should look at it and say, truly, we are leaderless. And so we can sit here and say that we are the leaders of Gen Z. It's a voice. And the voice of, let's say now, the voice of God, it can use any personalities, but the voice remains constant. And the message of the Gen Z is very clear. We want accountability, we want integrity. And so we don't need leaders to come and talk. What are we talking about? We are asking for accountability, integrity, proper policy implementation. And so the movement has no leader. Also, something you should note is now the movement is ageless. You can now join, quote unquote, Gen Z.
Mzae.
Yes.
Because so I think that when we say Ruto must go, Ruto is the embodiment of everything that is wrong with governance in our country, because the fish rots from the head. And we have seen this from the time he got into office. The other thing is our population, 80% of us did not vote in this administration. That is another thing we must not forget. And most people were just like, there's no point choosing between these two. We would rather not vote. But now I feel like we are more aware about why we must take part in politics, why we need to take our voters card early, why we need to vote our representatives, and why we need to have a say in who represents us. Because we have seen how costly it could be. We've seen us being, our country being auctioned to IMF with a bill that, the land bill, the very dear land, we've seen.
We as the youth of Kenya, we are going to uproot what? We will uproot corruption. We will uproot injustice. He was set over the nations to destroy. We shall destroy our killers. We shall destroy those who have taken it upon themselves to end our lives before our time. What shall we do again? We shall rebuild. How shall we rebuild? We shall rebuild by capturing political power. We shall occupy those positions, parliament, county assemblies, and we dare say we shall occupy even the executive positions, and we shall bring justice to this country. Lastly, I would like to say that they buried us, but they did not know that we were seeds. Thank you.
The way for the young people. The young people needs a voice, a movement that can sweep all over the country, not one corner of the country. And by the way, let me tell you something, why the political class are panicking. We have just entered into their game. This is their game. They designed it in a way that favors them. But we have entered into it, and we have the numbers. That is what they fear most. Right now, his numbers are dwindling. There are something less than 1.5 million. If you ask Ruto what is his numbers, the way they want to balkanize their numbers ethnically, Ruto has less than 2 million numbers. If you ask Gachagua what are the numbers you are bringing, he has less than 3 million numbers. If you ask Alonso, less than 800,000 numbers. But if you ask me, as a Gen Z, what numbers are you bringing on the table? I have 15 million strong. So our numbers is great, and that is what they're panicking on.
All right. We have an institution that is not working and no one is interested in undertaking their role. What is happening is that IPOA stated that they would want the victims to come forward and tell them about their cases so that then they can investigate. And this is a question I posed to them sometime. Does IPOA want dead people to go and report to them that they were killed on this particular date so that then they can investigate the deaths of those that were killed? They are saying that they need people to come forward. They need victims like myself to come forward and explain to them. What about someone who's probably still nursing their wounds, or someone who's in the hospital and has not been able to pay, the hospital bills? Maybe someone who was...
These people we are calling pastors are fake, bana. Sasa, you receive donations from a president. Don't say that God also gives chances to thieves. God gave Ananias chance to show that he's a fool. He has given Kenyans chance to show that Ruto is a fool. Ruto is a fool, bana. How do you... We were looking for justice before even we came to this June 25th mess. We were speaking as students here. We were speaking of a bad funding model. The government never answered. They thought we were fools. We were speaking about health. People were dying in this nation. Yet an executive was passing a health system like SHA, which is a money-tapping scheme, for their own benefit. So let us not quote evil here. We have an executive that does not know what it's doing.
In the government, and the government itself should understand that. Waache kuchukulia ni kama siasa ni yao. There's that assumption that siasa ni yetu sisi mabazu. Nyinyi wengine hamfai kwa siasa. Politics affects each and everyone's life. Nimekuwa nikiona pia kwa mtandao MCA tuki niki-inject. Na wanamsea ananiambia, wewe stick to comedy. No, I won't stick to comedy if the politics in this country is affecting my comedy. You understand? This actor will not stick to acting. Kama the political decisions being made by these guys are affecting our lives. So each and everybody is a stakeholder in this politics. Hiyo ni kitu moja wanafaa wajue.
We have a problem. We have a very huge problem. If the kind of guys I'm seeing here, well, except for Sankara, are the guys who are going to give attention going forward, we have a problem as a country. Because in our desperation, we should not at any moment stoop so low as to trust folks like this ones. Because to be sure, to be certain, and to say it as it is, there isn't a difference between the ODM Youth League and the ODM party. And I'm not here to attack the party. As gratifying as that would be, I'm here to state the truth as it is. The ODM party ideals and its values only applies when the party is not in power. If that party gets to power, it will be the same as the Ruto government. That is a truth and that is a fact. The ODM party is not willing to fight corruption. The ODM party is not willing to fight inequality. The ODM party is not willing to fight poverty. And it is not willing to grant Kenya the magical Kenya that we want.
Youth wanaweza. Babu huyu alianza akiwa na miaka ngapi? And today is the best performing MP. Kama Babu wanaweza, kwani sisi hatuwezi? Inatakana tuanze kujiuliza. Unajua kitu iko ni vile hao wase wamezoea. I remember Mo Ibrahim telling us something on the panel and saying someone is 84 and he wants to lead us we are to the grave.
So do you have...
So as I was saying, you have watched the videos. You can clearly see that those are young people, but look at how articulate they are. Look at how they are addressing issues. Look at how they are even challenging the interviewer. They are asking questions. Look at how they are throwing things at Nini. Look at how they know how even the media operates. Yani they are very eloquent in terms of their explanation and everything. They have the clarity of thought. A leader is going to emerge from these people. And you see, there's been a narrative of trying consistently to try and divide these young people across tribal lines. And this narrative has been pushed by none other than millennials. The millennials who have at least a little bit of influence, they're the ones who have been pushing this tribal narrative. But there's a reason why this narrative is failing. And there's a reason why this narrative will fail completely. Because there is a set of generation, especially the Gen Zs, that they don't recognize tribe. And the reason why they don't recognize tribe is because these people come from a mixed family setup. It's because these people don't come from, majority of them don't come from any complete family setup. Some come from a system whereby the mother is a Kikuyu, the father is a Luo. You get? So that such a person doesn't know who to support. He doesn't know whether to like upande Gachagua, upande Raila. So he will just stick with the truth. He will just look for the leader when you feel who you at address issues zangu. There's a lot of mixed families. People come from very mixed parents that are now adults. Majority of them, so many of them. Babake ni Muluya, mamake ni Mkale. And it's so mixed. And this thing is not even in Nairobi. It's not even in towns. Even in the rural areas. Even in the rural areas. And then we have this set of young people that have been so much exposed, that have been so much educated, they are so much informed, to a point whereby it's so hard for them to sell to them a tribal narrative. It doesn't hold. It doesn't hold. We have a generation that the government has, the politicians have tried deliberately to try and split these people on tribal lines. But it is not working. It is not working. So the Gen Zs will be the biggest force come 2027. The Gen Zs will be the biggest force in 2027. And I'm telling you, the biggest betrayer in 2027 will be the millennials. The millennials are going to be the biggest betrayer come 2027. If this country will be betrayed and things goes down until the system remains the same, trust you me, the person we will blame are the millennials. Because millennials are still brainwashed. We have millennials who still think that Raila is the alpha omega of politics. We have millennials who still think that Gachagua is the only way, is the alpha and omega of politics. We have millennials who think that William Ruto is the alpha omega of politics. We have millennials who think that Kalonzo Musyoka is the alpha omega of politics. These ones are the biggest betrayal. Wachana Generation X. Generation X, those ones, wachana now. Most of them even will not turn up to vote. You get? Because most of them, even if you listen to what saying, wanasema wacheni vijana wabadilishe nchi. Wacheni vijana wa taking. So even when it comes to voting, they will let the young people decide the future. Because the people who are deciding their future here, and this one I'm speaking to all Gen Zs, this future, the future you are trying to create is for yourself, not for the Gen X or the boomers. It is for you, the Gen Z. This is your time. This is for you to shape the future that you want. This is for you to bring up the kind of leaders that you want. Amongst all these people that you see talking that are being called for interviews and everything, interrogate those people keenly. Get leaders from that set of people. Come 2027, let us make sure that everyone who is voted in, whether it's an MCA, whether it's an MT, let it be a young person. Let it be a Gen Z. Let us change the system. Let us drain the swamp right from the MCA level all the way up. And these young people have the ability to do that. So what these young people need, they just need a set of young leaders to emerge from the Gen Z movement. People who cannot be influenced. People who cannot be bought. To start now speaking to these young people. Sasa, this is what we want us to do. We want us to make sure that everyone takes a vote. Kila mtu achukue kura. kila mtu achukue kura, right from the MCA, right from the ward level. And then the next available step will be, let us make sure that everyone that we are voting in is a new person, is a person who has never been in politics. Let us vote in for fresh minds. Let us turn out in large numbers and vote for fresh minds. Let us vote for fresh people, right from the MCA all the way up. By the time kura inaisha, we will have new set of leaders. Because as I always say, Mimi, I'm not a fan even of Gachagua. I know Gachagua is not a good leader. He can't. This is a person who, if you give him power, he will be very ruthless. We know that. And so many other people. So, the Gen Zs, this is your time. This is your time. These people that you see emerging, being called for interviews and any, or you see them on the street, they'll be a leader. Leaders are coming from there. I've started seeing new fresh minds. They don't know that they are leaders, but they are. There's some leadership in them. They don't know yet. Most of them just think that they're called for interviews to address issues, but they don't know. When God speaks, when God started changing things, things like this happen. You see, the people who are betrayers, the people who took advantage, the people who need, you've seen wamekuwa sidelined. People like Akina Kasmuel. Now nobody talks about Kasmuel. He can do 1,000 interviews. For who cares? Nobody cares about that. Morara can go to wherever he wants to do. He can do some vampire diaries whatever he wants to do. But no one cares. It's because God is realigning Kenya to its glory. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this movement, this set of leaders that I feel like are coming up? Any other person that you feel like can also take up that space, you can share it in the comment section to discuss. Anyway, guys, thank you. Until next time, bye-bye.